Deep in the woods of Cherokee County, 14 contestants set out to partake in the adventure of a lifetime. An incredibly fast-paced rendition of Survivor forced the contestants to think fast, act swiftly, and always be alert. Out of the gate, the Nikwasi tribe dominated the challenges, which allowed them to focus on keeping their group united. The first twist came fast as both tribes were sent to tribal council following the first immunity challenge. Arriving late to the scene and entering the game with a lack of previous relationships, Nikwasi unanimously decided to cast their votes on Peyton. Over on the Tougaloo side, Alden just couldn't seem to fit in with his new family, making him the first to be voted out of his tribe. Nikwasi continued their winning streak at the next challenge, sending Tougaloo to the tribal council for the second time. With AJ failing to make ends with his new tribe, he quickly found himself at the bottom of an all-girls alliance. Despite offering athletic ability to his tribe, Tougaloo ultimately decided to stick with people they could trust. At the next challenge, it was more of the same. Nikwasi devastated the Tougaloo tribe in head-to-head showdowns, winning 3 in a row to win tribal immunity. With the majority alliance among the Tougaloo women, and James holding the leverage of an immunity idol, the decision was made to vote the odd man out. At the top of the next immunity challenge, the tribes were merged. But with the looming chaos of pre-existing relationships that complicated alliances, lines were drawn in the sand. However, during the immunity challenge, moves were made. With Tougaloo entering the merge at a 4-6 numbers disadvantage, Hannah saw the writing on the wall. She revealed to Nathan that James had possession of an immunity idol and may even have a second. With Hannah being the only member of Tougaloo acting independently of her minority alliance, Nathan saw her as a major strategic threat. Nikwasi chose to target Hannah as they suspected her to be the least likely to receive an idol. After the blind side of Hannah, Brandon grew restless of his tribe's stagnant strategy and sought to make a big move. With suspicions mounting on the Nikwasi side, the members of Nikwasi decided Brandon had to be the next to go. Despite begging for a member of Nikwasi to make a big play, Tougaloo unanimously turned their back on Brandon in order to keep their alliance strong for another vote.
If this works, he'll never see it coming.
With Nikwasi less divided, they sought to break up the De Los Rios numbers and eliminate Jarrett's connection to the other side. Catalina's frustration with her tribe grew as sights turned to her sister. Her alliance's refusal to eliminate Jarrett resulted in a major blowup that fractured the Nikwasi tribe. With both Tougaloo idols successfully flushed, all sights now turned towards Nikwasi's biggest original target, James. With only Catalina and Lydia left on the outs, Jarrett saw an opportunity. Doubting his position among his tribe, he turned his focus towards eliminating big threats to set up his desired final 3. In a last-minute scramble, Raul revealed his true alliance, and Jarrett was blindsided at Final 6 with an unplayed idol in his possession. With the last of the Tougaloo members being voted out, only 4 contestants remain. Matthew, who is at least 6'4", hit the game running as he immediately made a Final 4 deal with Catalina and an in-game deal with Nathan. He quickly situated himself in the majority alliance on Nikwasi and helped lead his tribe to success with solid performances across each challenge. With 2 individual immunity challenge wins and 3 second-place finishes, Matthew has fought hard to get himself where he is.
I mean, what a great challenge.
With 2 necklaces and an immunity idol played, Matthew has spent more tribal councils immune than any other player. With a reputation as a strong extrovert and object of ridicule among his friends, Matthew downplayed his social game to appear less threatening. Ultimately, Matthew's strategy paid off for him as he made tight bonds that allowed him to control the direction of the game alongside his Nikwasi alliance. Matthew has been able to continually manage his threat level as a player by allowing more obvious targets to take the blame.
I don't know why you guys don't see it, that he literally has you guys wrapped around his finger. Whatever he says, you guys do.
Matthew worked with his tribe to spread whispers and misinformation to manipulate the actions of other players.
We need to get James to flush his idol. As much as possible, make James think that he's going to get voted out tonight.
I'm going next if I don't play my idol, so we'll see how your split votes go.
Any votes for James will not count. Alright. Even after downplaying his social strategy, Matthew has still accrued a total of 7 votes cast against him so far, the most of any player still in the game. And yet, Matthew has managed to power his way to the Final 4 alongside his alliance. Raul, Raul entered the game after only seeing a single season of Survivor. Despite a lack of experience, Raul quickly adapted to the cutthroat nature of the game. Proving to be a valuable puzzle solver in challenges, Raul quickly became an asset to his tribe. Raul's friendly demeanor and easygoing personality granted him access to a variety of Final 3 deals, allowing him to handpick who he wanted to go to the end with. After the merge, Raul successfully convinced all 3 alliances left in the game that he was interested in working with them. Raul's social game allowed him to gain interest from almost everyone in the game, with players from every alliance coming to him with their voting targets, secrets, and strategies. He kept his pre-established relationships a secret throughout the game, meaning everyone was campaigning for his loyalty.
I'm looking towards Raul.
I have talked to Raul about the plan.
He took advantage of his ability to speak Spanish with other players to gain trust.
Raul was already leaking information to us.
James thought I was with him the whole time.
The Tuglu minority placed their faith in Raul vote after vote. All the while, Raul continued to string them along. A perpetual swing vote, Raul remained in the power position of multiple tribal councils. When Jarrett tried to flip on the Nikwasi alliance at the final 6, Raul was the whistleblower that determined the fate of the game.
Raul, you played that man!
Being at the center point of everyone's game plan, Raul was left to pick up the pieces and decide who he wanted to get to the end. After deceiving almost everyone, Raul revealed that his true loyalties lie with Nathan and his ally Matthew. Raul picked his core alliance and brought his closest friends all the way to the end. Nathan. After his tribe demonstrated they had the strength to last, Nathan placed his faith in keeping his team solid, encouraging his tribe to belittle and avoid communicating with the former Tuglu tribe.
Brandon came up to me and he was like, "We're killing you guys."
Literally not letting us say a word to anybody.
He sought to maroon the minority, both socially and strategically, so they had nowhere left to turn.
Kind of watching them play, watching how Jarrett was acting, Lydia and I kind of quickly decided we don't really want to be on the same alliance as him.
Nathan continuously bent the rules of the game to secure his team additional food and advantages during challenges, further separating the tribes. At the merge, he received game-changing insight from his sister, Hannah, who is hoping to gain favor in the Nikwasi tribe. Knowing Hannah to be just as much of a superfan of Survivor, he decided it was too risky to allow her room to make moves in the game. After becoming distrustful of some of his former Nikwasi members, he applied the same shutout strategy to his own team. In order to widen his control of the game, he kept his alliance with Matthew and Raul secretive so that he could get information from a network of loyal spies.
So he goes and tells Nathan immediately, really like a mob boss.
Under the guise of simply wanting to get to the final 6 with his tribe, he was able to maintain a solid group while keeping the spotlight off of himself. Using Raul and Matthew as his accomplices, he directed the game in ways that discreetly benefited him. Nathan recommended that his tribe throw an immunity challenge to give the win to his ally Matthew. He assigned members of his tribe to specific seats at tribal council and worked out deals with his tribe to write down names in unique ways so that the individual casting each vote would be held accountable. Adapting his knowledge of Survivor, he took full advantage of the fast-paced version of the game using supervision, panic, and last-minute surprises to keep the other players in the dark.
I have a plan to get Catalina to give me her individual immunity at the last second.
I would like to hand this to Nathan.
Controlling the game alongside his alliance, he ensured that his friends were protected and his best interests preserved, eliminating anyone who threatened his endgame. Catalina. Starting the game as the only female player in Nikwasi, Catalina immediately felt like an outsider within her own tribe. She used her position to her advantage, going to work while everyone continued to underestimate her. Despite being widely outnumbered, Catalina managed to infiltrate nearly every alliance in the game, making bonds with Matthew, Nathan, and Raul, while also convincing Jarrett that she and Raul were a strong final 3. With a foot in each alliance, Catalina flew under the radar and gathered loyalties from across the game. Catalina knew coming into the game that her relationships with her family members could do her more harm than good.
He knows me, so he knows how to play me and he knows how I will react to different things.
Her focus was set on Jarrett, as she saw him as a strategic threat that knew her well with the Nikwasi. After laying low with the Nikwasi to vote out Hannah and Brandon, Catalina was determined to take a shot at her target using the minority alliance of Tuglu. Taking a fake trip to the bathroom after a challenge, she invented signals to communicate with a third all-girls alliance on the other side. After bluffing Jared into revealing his idol, she attempted to signal the Tuglu tribe while under the watchful eye of Nikwasi. Unfortunately, her signals were not received, and her sister Isabella was sent home instead. Fearing her place among her current connections, she joined forces with her brother James and his ally Lydia, and has been fighting to survive ever since. In the aftermath of her flip, and with severed ties to both of her Nikwasi alliances, Catalina was left stranded at the bottom of the numbers. With both of her siblings out of the game, she joined her vote with the Nikwasi alliance to blindside Jarrett, eliminating her biggest target from a minority position. After having won 2 individual immunities and seeing her only remaining ally getting voted out at Final 5, Catalina is now left with no one to trust but herself. Tonight, after all the twists, turns, chaos, and drama, one of these 4 people will outwit, outplay, and outlast all the others to win the $200 prize and the title of Sole Survivor.
So Lydia goes home, and the next step is to just get Catalina to follow shortly behind. All of us guys are unified. We know that we need each other for the final 3, and so there's no funny business going on at this point. We just have to win the final immunity challenge, and we're taking 3 strong, athletic guys to beat 1 younger girl, and so I think our odds are pretty good.
So we all said, no offense to Catalina, we all said Lydia is definitely way stronger than Catalina, and physically and running and everything. So we decided to get Lydia out.
When Lydia left, I knew that I really had to give it my all because that was my second chance. I was surprised I was still in there.
I had multiple times to flip, make a big move, maybe get the jury on my side. But going into it, I knew I had one person always with me, which was Nathan, and I just couldn't flip on him, So many times during the one we wrote Lydia out, Lydia was like, you can make a big move, you can get Nathan, you got it. And yeah, I did think about it. At the same time, easy top 3, top 4 for me, because I had Matt and Nathan on my side at the time, mostly Nathan, so.
I feel good.
That's very nice. Thank you. Hey, are you gonna be offended if I don't eat a whole lot?
Yeah,
I can't throw up.
My stomach is like kind of completely screwed over.
Yeah.
This person was outside, just kind of like laying
It's not raining. We were gonna get through first, and now you ruined it. So get down. I wasn't even Shut your mouth for 1 moment.
I said no, we're talking, but that didn't work out so well.
All right, come on in, guys. All right, you guys ready to get to, you can stop there if you want. You guys ready to get to your final challenge?
Yes.
All right. From this board, we will start with the blues. Okay? You can take 1 marble, or you can take 2. We'll take turns. All right. If you take the white, you're out of the game. Okay? Finally, you're not allowed to talk strategy with anybody. Okay? You can heckle, to do whatever, but I don't, none of this sneaking off to the side. Do this, You're playing your own game at this point, okay? So obviously 3 white marbles. If you get for the 3 people get those, last person left will get individual immunity. Does that make sense? Yeah. So Nathan, give me a number 1 through 4.
2.
You're 3.
1.
You're 4.
4.
You're 1. And then you got what was left? 3, right? Yeah. All right. So go ahead and line up in that order. I'm gonna give you 10 seconds to pick your marbles. All right. Survivors ready? Go. Matthew takes 2. Alina takes 1. Raul takes 2. Nathan takes 1. Matthew takes 1. Adelina takes 2. Raul took 1. Alright, Matthew's out of the game. Back to Catalina. Took 1. Raul took 1. Nathan taking 2. More time you take to think, more time other people get to think. Taking 2. Oh, it took 1. Bad commenting. Raul took 1. Nathan took 1. Alina took 2. Raul took 2. I think your choice is made here, Nathan. 5. Raul is out of this game. It is down to Nathan and Catalina. Moving really quick now. For Catalina. Five, 4, 3. Nathan took 2. Catalina wins individual. Let's go! Catalina, guaranteed spot in the final 3. Back up this way. For the rest of you guys, man, you guys have had something going here, but one of you guys is gonna have to go home. Just have to figure out who's next.
My eyes are teary.
All right, guys, got nothing else for you. Head back to camp.
Let me just.
Yeah, you guys can just sit back down.
I'm like, I could cry. I could cry. Hold on. Okay, hold on. Give me a second. Going into this, I'm definitely thankful that I was given this second. I was definitely given a second. Man, I'm losing my words.
Opportunity?
Yes, I was definitely given a second opportunity that I know a lot of other people could have used and definitely would have played it their hardest. But I know that when I was given that opportunity, when Lydia was voted out, I know that I just had to try my hardest just for the people that, like, I didn't want to let down after everything that went down and losing their trust. And I just, after playing this whole game basically by myself, like, just an all-girl, like, in an all-guy group, was a little tough. It was stressful because, like, I never know what my next move would be or like my next alliance that I can trust. And from the beginning, it was always going to be the 3, and I didn't know that. And so I'm very grateful for my second opportunity, and I'm glad I used it to the fullest I can. I'm just excited, and I'm just so excited.
Okay, well that went terribly. We already know who won, so there's like, well, I don't say no point in being in the top 3, but I mean, I guess you could say you made top 3, you know? And so, I don't know, because the 3 of us had a really big alliance going, so, I don't know, it's gonna be hard.
Well, that sucks. I feel like we did everything we could to line up a nice finals, but I couldn't pull out the last challenge at the end. It just kind of came down to an unfortunate game of roulette. So, but I'm not done yet. I still got work to do. So, we'll see what happens.
We thought we had it in the bag. We thought we were doing something physical. We pull up. It's a stupid ass marble challenge game. Stupid marbles, pulling out, whatever. I've never done this in my entire life.
We had 3 grown men. We didn't care who won. We were all just trying to gang up on Catalina.
We just all got unlucky. We played it how we just thought, and then we had like 5 seconds to pick, so I couldn't strategize. And I didn't know what I was doing. And Catalina ended up winning. That really screwed everything up for all of us, so.
And now I have to vote out one of my closest allies in this game. None of us want to vote each other out. We all need each other for any of us to win.
We played Chinese marbles, and I really tried my hardest to really think about the game. Everyone said that it was all luck based, but it wasn't really. Most of it was, I guess, but.
Everybody was criticizing me about, oh, you could have taken Nathan out. Oh, you could have taken Nathan on this move or that move. But what they don't know is that we were all together. And Nathan knew this game more than I did and Matt did. So me taking the Matt out, I was like, okay, Matt's out. Nathan's got this in the bag. It's me, Nathan against Catalina. And then Catalina gets me out. And I was like, well, now it's Nathan and Catalina. Nathan's got this. But, you know, Nathan ended up getting out and Catalina got immunity.
I was like, wow, the luck, because I didn't have a chance from when I told everyone that I had betrayed them. So me winning my 3rd immunity idol, it was luck, and I was very thankful for it. So I cried because I didn't expect that at all.
The only good part about this is I like Catalina, so it could be worse, but at the same time, it could also kind of not be worse.
All my information that I got, I went to you first, and then I went to Nathan. You did whatever you wanted with that.
Yeah.
And then Lydia, obviously, where she's coming from. I understand that because where I came from, too. Like, you guys had such a strong alliance, from the start. Like, how am I supposed to know that? So, yeah. I mean, I had to play both
all
parts.
All 3 of us were locked in immediately.
At the end, it was just...
I mean, I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. Good job. You did it. That's not sarcastic.
I know,
I'm actually proud of you.
I would have had the same reaction.
I'm pissed.
Too. I know.
But that's awesome. I mean, I can't be mad. You worked your way from being the most annoying character. When you had your mental breakdown and started going against us, we were pissed. We were like, what just happened?
Nathan.
So you went after us?
Or whoever I told to vote out Jerry, and then you guys went and voted out Brandon. But I didn't know that, and the fact that you kept that. No, you didn't. No, from the start it was you 3, and I didn't know that. So what was I supposed to do?
So at this point in the game, I'm paranoid about my ability to make it to the final 3. I have a really solid deal with Raul and a really solid deal with Matthew, and I got to make sure that somehow I weasel my way in there.
2 of us are gonna have to get to the final 3. I don't know who that's gonna be, but I have a plan, I guess, that it could backfire, but who knows. Hopefully it's me. We're gonna draw sticks and see, but I think I already know it's gonna go down.
So that is the alliance. You can show them. Come back to me. That's the alliance. Half of them that I paired up with from the beginning, and I put a lot of trust in that, just coming from the position I came in. And in the end, it turned out that they were all three playing me, so this was my one shot, and I definitely used it. So since they're an alliance, each of these represent who's going home, or one of them. So I'm gonna put them in random spots, and then they'll be even up here, and whoever picks the smallest one will go out. So that's what they've asked me to decide, and I will respect it.
Come on, boy.
Should we all just grab it at the same time?
Yeah. We'll all just grab. Look away. She's going to turn down anymore. Here.
Nathan?
3, 2, 1. Roll.
I left it exactly how you gave it to me.
Roll. Catalina, come here. You did well.
Hey, you know what? From the beginning, I did say I wanted to bring you guys up. Didn't know you guys were gonna play me, and here we are. So.
Come on in, guys. Hannah, Brandon, Isabella, James, Jarrett, and Lydia voted out at the last tribal council. Well, guys, we made it to the final 4. It's pretty good. Matthew, did you think you'd be here?
I thought I was going to be the first vote out.
Pretty good. What's been your, what do you think has gotten you to this point?
Just playing the game.
Catalina, you've got immunity. You're staying. You're guaranteed spot in the final 3.
My original plan was to try get a top 3, but and then everyone started getting comfortable and like knowing how to play the game more seriously, and then I knew that I was not gonna be in the top 3, and then I was given a second chance, and I'd use that the best I can.
Absolutely. And so again, you're safe. What do you think goes into your vote decision tonight?
Oh, yeah, you get to vote.
Oh, I do?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you still get to vote.
Oh, I meant. Oh,
For,
so
yeah,
sorry.
voting
I'm
out.
Like,
No, that's all right.
You just meant. No, I knew that. He just made me forget. We decided pretty fairly.
We're not the top 3.
Pretty fairly.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, well, someone might not think that that's fair. What is this fairly?
I mean, they decided amongst themselves.
Oh, so
Yeah.
they've given you an answer,
Yes.
and they're saying this is who you're voting out.
Yes.
Interesting. Nathan, are you good with that answer?
Yeah, it's rough. I feel like I did everything I could to set myself up. At the end of the day, the luck just fell in the wrong place, and I'm hoping that the relationships I've built up to this point are enough to get me where I need to be.
Well, so it's interesting because Catalina's saying a fair way to determine. It sounds like you're defeated, but at the same time, it sounds like you're kind of hoping to go on.
Yeah, I'm never gonna stop playing this game. I gotta try to do what I gotta do.
Sounds like Catalina, fair might not be so fair. I guess we'll never know. Raul, what goes into your decision here?
I'm just gonna make top 4.
Yeah.
I watched Survivor one night.
But Raul, you were this close. Can you imagine that, being the guy that, oh yeah, I haven't watched anything, I'm coming into this like a season 1 Survivor, and you beat all these other guys that are diehard fans of the show? That would be pretty incredible, would it not?
Yeah, but like Nathan said, the luck just ran out. So
Luck just ran out, so it sounds like you think you're going home.
we already did it, but I did it fair.
So what's going on? We got Nathan, we got Raul. Who's going home?
Let's just see.
Well, we drew sticks, and Raul's was shorter than mine, so...
They gave me sticks, different heights, and so I held them evenly on top, but they weren't even on bottom. And they gave it to me, and I decided, and they all drew. And the shortest
Sticks,
one was
man. Nathan, so if Raul's going, you think that's your ideal 3? Final 3?
It's not ideal, obviously, but I'm happy with where things have ended up.
Why is it not ideal?
I think it was kind of obvious that Raul, Matthew, and I were planning on going to the end. We set everything up to go that way. But early on in the game and for a long time in the game, Catalina was one of my allies, and
Honestly,
I absolutely wanted to bring her far.
Like day one, this was our top 4 from the beginning.
Matthew. So, yeah, it sounds like you've got those 3. That's kind of the plan. Catalina comes up big in a challenge that is a mind game. You could easily count those marbles, figure out what you guys need to do. Any one of you 3 could have done that. Catalina beat you guys all out. What do you think?
I think
what
that
happened
was,
there?
I mean,
I think
it's
there
still
could-
unpredictable.
There couldn't have been a more fair game to decide that.
That was like a 100% chance. I mean, yes, you could count, but we also had 10 seconds
we had
each,
10 seconds
and
to do
also
it,
to the
so.
like, if
Yeah.
with 3 other people, at least for me, with 3 other people, they can pick
I mean,
up 1 or
if
2.
you try,
Right.
if you really
We can't
thought hard-
strategize.
So if you
And you-
factor that in, and you know Raul is going to be, he's the short stick. He's
Well, we
going
did
home.
Well, it's
We did that
chance.
after.
It's
Right.
not
The
like-
game?
Yeah, you did that after the game, right? But are you second guessing that? Thinking that, obviously it didn't go as planned. Do you want to take Raul to the final 3? You think you have a better chance there?
I don't think we have a chance at all.
Being honest.
do.
Nathan, any other thoughts? What's going on in your head?
No other thoughts. I think the 4 of us are happy that the 4 of us are here.
Yeah.
And yeah, we were trying to get Catalina out. That's no secret.
She knew that.
And
From
she
the
pulled it
begin-
out, and that's
I-
awesome for her.
Not from the start of it.
But I think when you think of all the ways this game could have gone, this is
Yeah.
absolute top tier.
Yeah. I'm happy.
It sounds like you also, that sounds like something that someone who thinks they're in a good position to win it all, sounds like something they would say.
I would always love to believe that I'm in a good position to win it all.
All right. Well, since we've got our fair shot here, I think it's time to vote. Roll.
Oh. Screw marbles.
No matter what, it was gonna happen anyways. So.
All right. Once the votes are read, the decision is final. The person voted off will be asked to leave the tribal council area immediately. I'll read the votes. Raul. Nathan. Raul. That's 2 votes Raul. 1 vote Nathan. Raul. Last member Red Ray. Bring me your torch. Raul. Tribe spoken. All right. Final 3. This is everything that you guys hoped for. Now it all comes down to you guys. You guys are going to have some time to think about your pitch. You're trying to sell the jury here on why you think you deserve that $200 and why you should be named the sole survivor. Got nothing else for you guys? Head back to camp.
I mean, I did pretty good. In the top 4, and I watched Survivor once. So, then again, we also drew the sticks to see who could get out, because we were a good alliance. But I got unlucky, so I'm in the jury now.
After the interviews, how much time do you guys want for
How long? Like
10 minutes? What? Yeah.
Yeah, 10 minutes, I guess.
Well, guys, we have no reason to lie to each other. So there's that.
Hey, can I speak to you further?
Just kidding.
Yeah, that's so fun.
What?
And then Nathan and I that we vote out the role. If he,
Oh, I knew that you guys would.
Even
and
if
I told
he
him.
did like the top, the biggest, and like I got
He
the
knew that
smallest.
too.
Yeah.
There was no
we were gonna
breaking
go to
your
a tie.
We
if
were
had
worried
to.
about you voting for him as well, and then it being a tie, and then
That would've
them,
been
but
so
then,
good.
Them
That
drawing
would've, like,
rocks, and it
then
would,
what?
They would have to draw rocks, and it would be 100% chance. It's like a black rock or a white rock.
I saw his name and I was like, wait, but then I forgot that he couldn't vote you.
I'm kind of amazed, but I think it speaks to the strength of the relationships I built in this game. I'm very nervous because Catalina got some big praise when she won immunity, but I'm hoping that the jury will appreciate what I've done, and I'm going to try really hard to sell myself tonight.
I mean, that makes sense. I mean, no matter what, Nathan and I knew that we were going to put out Raul. It just, he also happened to draw the literal short stick. When it comes to us three, I think Catalina has the best chance to win. I think I have the second best chance to win, and I think Nathan has the least chance to win. Who it's going to be? Hopefully me. You never know.
If Nathan or Matthew were to pull the short end, you think they would actually follow through with it, or?
Oh, for sure. Yes. They all picked, yeah. They gave me the sticks, and I didn't change the order, I just
So if it was Nathan, or like to pull the short end of the stick, would you have voted for Nathan?
I would have voted for whoever they wanted. At the end, I respected their decision. Like, no matter who I would vote for, it was really up to them.
Matt and I had a conversation at the very start of the game that said, we had known we always work well together, we always lie well together, whether it's Secret Hitler or any other kind of game. We love to team up and we love to just gang up on everybody else. So at the very beginning of the game, we made an agreement that we swore if one of us gets voted out and it's not the other person's fault, we get their vote. But if one of us gets voted out and it is the other person's fault, then we never get that person's vote. And we will do everything in our power to tank that person in front of the jury. So we have no reason to betray each other. I think I can beat Matt in the end. Matt thinks he can beat me in the end, which is perfect. And we made a pact to make sure no double crossings occurring between us.
I mean, in the grand scheme of things, I also knew that Nathan and I were going to be the top two because we already decided to vote out Raul. And then I was like, well, let's just let's just draw straws.
One of them was short, and we agreed that the person who drew the short stick was going to go.
To add more to it, he still lost that.
It made it really easy to just go, man, you played a good game, but I guess that was it though, the sticks and all. So it broke my heart, but it worked out really well to secure a final 3.
But now that I'm thinking about it, I should have voted out Nathan, because since I had not seen a last episode of Survivor, I didn't know that people would be voting on who was, or people would, I didn't know the jury would be voting out based on who survived more than the other person.
Going into this season, I knew that with the connections I have and the personality that I have, I would have a really rough time trying to be a foreboding force in this game. So I wanted to play more from the shadows so that people wouldn't see me as big of a threat. I managed to get myself in a really good position where I was in control without making other people feel like I was in control. I would always start off the conversation with, I think we should go with this person tonight. What do you guys think? And then before it was all said and done, that person that I had first hinted at early on ended up going home. A big inspiration for my strategy was Boston Rob's season 22 Redemption Island, where he basically just goes to his other tribe and tells them that they're all better than the other tribe and they shouldn't talk to the other tribe. It was a way I was able to control the game while taking myself outside of the center of control. It wasn't me calling the shots, it was our team that's strong and unified.
I think first off, when you're playing this game with a bunch of people you know, it's a lot harder. Everybody knows Matthew Mills. Everybody knows him as being loud, obnoxious, kind of, more cutthroat, wants to win, more competitive. And I knew going into this game, if I played like that, I would get voted off pretty much immediately. I just try to lay low. I know that working with Nathan, he and I can make a lot of decisions behind the scenes because we could whisper in a lot of people's ears.
I didn't feel like I can trust anyone, but the one person that I tried the most with to stay in his alliance was Matt, I guess, and Nathan, because they were already a pair. So I kind of just told Matt everything, and then I guess he told Nathan, I don't know.
I think that I was in the right ears at the right time. I think I made the right choices at the right time. I think I made the right alliances with the right people. And I think I made it to the end, not because of luck, but because of skill.
I definitely used the quiet to my advantage because not everyone really knew me except for Jarrett, and not even then he knew how I play. I told everyone that I was just playing for playing and that like I would help them get to the top, and then obviously if I helped them get to the top I would be there helping them, so I would have made it up there myself. So I used that line, and for the most part Jarrett believed me there, and I really thought Matt would believe me there. I was really hoping he did. I don't know if he did.
You know, it seemed like at every corner, every single person, you had all of the Tutapoo, whatever their tribe's called, kind of like in our ear saying, you want to make a big move? You want to make a big move? Join us. Join us. Make a big move. Be the owner of your fate. Brandon was the owner of his own fate, and he got out. Jarrett was the owner of his own fate, and he got out. Making big moves doesn't win the game. We're not here with random people that we don't know. We're here with people that know us. You have to play strategically and you have to play smart. And playing like that is not how you win, clearly, because they're all not in the final three. And Nathan and I made it to the final three. Catalina made it to the final three. We had Luke in tribal councils trying to like pressure us into making big moves. Not pressuring it, but like weirdly being upset that we weren't. And then you have the entire other team telling us to make big moves. And it's like, look where that gets you. Clearly they don't know how to play the game, and we do, because that's not the move. If I go join, you know, James, Lydia, and Isabella, sure, I make it to top four, and then they just vote me out. I don't win. Like that's small brain thinking. Big brain thinking is when the world is pressuring you to do something, you stick to your plan and you don't let them get in your head.
I used being the only girl to my advantage because I made two alliances in the group, Jarrett and Brendan and Matt and Nathan. And then I didn't know where Ryle stood. So I played both of those sides, and then I kind of just stayed quiet, and everyone not really knowing me kind of helped, but me not knowing everyone was a little scary because I didn't know what my next moves would be, so I just spent all the time just thinking about my future plays.
At the very beginning of this game, Matt and I talked about we can't go to the end with a girl. We will just get walloped because people will think we're just two arrogant guys and they're going to give every vote to her. But I truly believe I've played a very, very good strategical game, better than both Matt and Catalina. So my goal going in is to convince the jury that I deserve to win based on merit, not necessarily personality.
Sadly, having the higher numbers didn't work out, and that's it. We just lost the game because there's no way that Nathan and I win against Catalina. But you know, I'll die trying, I'll die on my hill. But that's it.
Hannah, Brandon, Isabella, James, Jarrett, Lydia, and Raul voted out for the last tribal council. Final three. You guys will have the opportunity to make your pitch as to why you think you deserve to be the sole survivor and win that $200 prize. Nathan, let's start with you.
Well, hello, jury. Basically, I think the reason I deserve to win the game is because I played the most strategic game of the three of us here. At the start of the game, I was most concerned with just cultivating tribal patriotism. So I didn't think that I could control the game by coming out loud and proud. So I did everything I could to basically try to get my tribe to just hate the red tribe. So we celebrated loud at challenges, we talked trash at our own camp, just anything I could do to make them see you guys as the enemy so they'd be more likely to consider one of you than one of me when it came time to do a vote. And that worked for a while. It was a little bit cultish, but it was working. And then we started to question Brandon, and we started to question Jarrett because they were pairing off a lot in their tribe. And that's when I decided to implement the buddy system. So one of the people I trust was constantly posted on Brandon or Jared to make sure that they weren't communicating with the other tribe. And I did a lot from the backgrounds. I was the initiator of every vote. I always voted on the right side of the numbers. I always knew who I could expect to go home. And I never had to vote for anyone that I didn't want to vote for because I was working in the shadows to direct the game. And, you know, that works for all of you. Hannah, when we first merged, you were a huge unknown. We got as much information out of you as we could, and I decided we need to blindside Hannah because she'll be the least likely to be given an idol based on what we saw around challenges. Brandon, I got you out because you were obviously, you know, in cohorts with the other tribe, and I knew that it had to be you or it had to be me. Isabella, again, we wanted James out for a very, very long time, but we voted you out because we had heard rumors about James having an idol. James, you were my biggest strategic threat going into this game by far. I knew you would have the ability to talk everybody, get them on your side, and so I wanted you out from the get-go, but I knew you had idols, and so I had to be very, very patient, and I made every single one of those decisions to decide who goes home until I knew both your team's idols had been played, and then I decided to go for you. Jared, I wanted to go to the end with you, I really did. And then I discovered a minute before Tribal that you were planning on blindsiding me. And because of the trust and the relationships that I had built up, I was able to shift the vote in seconds so that everyone voted for you. And I was the only one who didn't vote for you. I voted for Lydia because I also knew that you had an idol. And so if you played it, then we would have tied and I probably would have won the revote. Lydia, I think you played a great game. I really do. I mean, I don't have anything bad to say about you, but I think you fully understand why I had to do what I had to do at the end of the game. Raul, I clearly had intentions of bringing you to the end. I did everything I knew how to try to create an environment where I would be seated here and I could win the final immunity challenge with my alliance, and it didn't work out. The marbles didn't fall in my favor. But I still worked so hard to get everything to go my way, and it worked up until the math didn't fall in my favor. So that's a big part of how my game went and where my head was at and how I facilitated to get here in the final three. I convinced Catalina to give me her immunity necklace. When Matthew found an idol, I knew about it instantly. When Raul found a clue, I knew about it instantly. Everyone trusted me with information, and I was able to navigate successfully through the game by playing hard without being a big threat.
Catalina?
That was a good speech. I'm sorry I'm not good in front of like so many people. So from the beginning, I obviously didn't have the advantage that most of the guys had on the tribe because the only person I actually like really knew and had like a bond with was Jarrett. But I also knew that you were very competitive and ambitious and that you would do anything you can to like win and play the game and play me. So I made an alliance that I thought was secure for the longest time with Matt and Nathan. And so I kind of started playing both of you guys. I didn't know if you were falling into like realizing if I was doing that, but honestly I think that was the one shot that I had because like again we were such a like a strong group that you guys just wanted to keep together. So like there was no, like you didn't want us to be picked apart, which makes sense, but like it left me no room to like strategize with anyone else. Sorry, I'm nervous. And so I think if in the beginning, I would definitely play this game differently than I would have, but it was my first time coming in, and just like pressure and stress of not knowing everyone was just a little much for me. But I'm definitely grateful for the second chance that I was given with Lydia. She definitely helped me a lot. Brandon, my plan, I actually, going back and forth playing you, well, trying to play you guys, attempting, my plan was to get Jared out because he was just more ambitious than you were, and I knew that would like hurt us a lot. Again, I didn't know of everyone else's plans, so I was just playing what knowledge I had. When I was talking to Jared and you guys, I heard that you wanted to pick off Nathan and Matt. I went straight to them and I told them. My mistake. I went to them and I told them, I was like, we have numbers because we made an alliance with Raul, Matt, Nathan, and I. And I said that we can just take off Jarrett and then Brayden. And they had their own agenda, but I guess, again, there was not much I could know after that. James, Isabella, I know I should have joined you guys earlier, but again, I don't have a lot of experience with like a lot of strategic things. I'm sorry.
You're good.
But yeah, I definitely would have played it different. I mean, I did when we were. I do wonder how different this could have gone had we all stuck with the vote when I was talking to Lydia to vote Jared out, and it would have just been us 4 against them 3. That would have 4 against 4 actually, but that we would have had better odds, and you guys could have probably still been. 2 of you could have been here, or I could have been there, and all 3 of you could be here. But I understand that I did that too late, and I didn't have your full trust, so no hard feelings. And I did try to warn Isabella, but again, Jarrett wouldn't let us spread apart because we had such a strong group in the beginning, and he just wanted to keep that together, and I understand. But some of us, some of us in the outer circle had to think about our future head of the game, and not our strong alliances that some of us didn't have. And Lydia, I took my second chance after you were voted out I was like, she's gone, so I really need to prove this, and I can't let her down. And Raul, I respect the decision you guys made. You can understand why I didn't trust you, because you were talking behind their back and theirs, so I was already having trust issues with everyone, so I just didn't know where to stand with you. And in the end, we kind of worked together, but we really knew what was going on, so you played your best, and I'm proud of you for that. And so I hope you guys just take in consideration of where I came from. I understand maybe Lydia came from, or all of you guys came from a hard spot because we had such a strong group, but when it came down to it, I wouldn't have had a chance with friends. The guy group we had, there was a lot of strong bonds in there, so I did my best, got a second chance, and I used it. And that's it.
All right, Matthew.
Hello. There's a lot to say. That's a lot to kind of stick in front of me. Yeah. Day one. I swear we've been here for a week. Hour 1, Nathan and I were we're gonna be in the final 3, 100%. And it changed between Raul and Catalina, which one we were going to be there with us. Nathan's pretty bold to say he made all the decisions behind the scenes, but I mean, I think it was give and take. We both made decisions on the fly. I mean, everybody came to the decision that you were going to get voted out the moment you stayed behind with the team, like on the trail down below. So it was, reason one, it's me and I'm here, and I never thought I would make it. I thought I was going to be the first like meme pick out of the group, because that's probably what everybody else would have thought, and that's what everybody else did think. I knew exactly how I had to play, and I played it literally perfectly, I think. Not being too forward, just kind of hanging out back, but also I had alliances and I was talking to every single person that's on the bench right now. And, well, except James. James, again, you were also my biggest strategic threat. But I really wasn't too worried about you because I also knew that you were also pissing a lot of other people off. But, I mean, you're still the biggest threat. Yeah, generally I think it was, I think I played a really good game, not only just strategically, I also played a really good game. Like, I won a lot of good challenges. I did really well in a lot of different like immunity challenges and like team-based challenges. And then, I mean, even just, I found my idol within like the first 1 minute of being here, just because logic. And then, yeah, I don't know, Hannah, I'm just gonna go down the list like they did. Hannah, it only made sense. I knew that like convincing everybody to vote for you would make James, and I also came up with the idea of making James think that we were gonna vote for him. And so we all knew that we were gonna vote for you, and then James was gonna flush his idol. And that was a pretty easy decision. I love you. I'm sorry. Isabella. I mean, it was a pretty, like, I mean, Nathan and I were at each other's ear, like, understanding that. And that's when we kind of divided, because Nathan and I knew that you had to go out before Jarrett. And that's when she kind of got pissed, because she wanted Jarrett out a lot sooner. James, you're my biggest threat, but you weren't that big of a threat in the end, but you still played a really good game. Your manipulation skills are through the roof, like through the roof. Jarrett, I really had nothing to do with that blindside. I mean, you went to Raul, and Raul immediately just came to Nathan and I and told us, and it was just literally in one split second. It was like, all right, we're voting him out, 100%. I wasn't really too worried about you because I always knew that you would get out, because I did know that we had we were pretty solid on the, like, within the first hour. It was like me, Raul, and like Catalina and Nathan knew that we were top 4, and we made that decision within the first hour. Lydia, like Nathan said, I don't know, you played a really good game. We didn't really merge to the end. You, James, and Isabella played like a really good game of just making everybody think. And Raul, I mean, I love you. Yeah. I mean, hopefully we're chilling, but it makes sense. Yeah, I think this is a very understood top 3. And this is kind of what I envisioned, and I even knew it was going to be Catalina. And yeah, so I mean, I played the game that I wanted to play, and I played it, I think, perfectly. So we'll see. And even if I don't win, then I'm happy with either of those two winning too. So
here's how this works. You guys can come up. I'll call you up. You can ask them questions, make a statement, whatever you guys want to do there. Once you're good, let me know that you've heard enough. You can take a seat back down. All right. We'll start with Hannah.
We good?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Brother. I came into this game with 2 goals. The first one is to win. The second one is, if I can't win, to set you up to win. So when the merge was coming and we were playing the pop the balloon game, I told you who I thought would have an idol. And when my whole team was rooting for you to go out next, I told you that so you could get protected. So in a way, you've kind of already answered my question, because you said you didn't vote for a single person that you didn't want to. So I guess it's just kind of like our childhood playing out. I'm lying to protect you, and you're just, well, enough said. That's all I got.
All right.
Brandon.
All right. I guess my question's pretty simple then. I kind of heard already from Nathan in his initial statement. So just Catalina and Matt, what do you think your biggest move was in the game? Whether it was a vote out, an alliance, a shift in the game, what do you think it was? Catalina, you can start.
My biggest move. I don't know. It was really hard to follow through my plan just because I was always watched. So, I think my biggest move was just being on the low and trying not to, like, being on both sides and kind of just giving everyone someone else that they can, like, someone else that they could fear more than I. Like, I would go and tell Matt everything about, like, why we should get Jared out, or I would tell Matt why we should get you out, or, like, even Raul next or something like that. So I think just trying to set the focus off of me was my biggest move that I could play in the position that I was in, just being watched left and right. And the alliances that I had, that I thought I had, but yeah.
For me, I think it comes down to like two big things. The first one was immediately having a solid 3 from the beginning. Knowing that was just rock solid was perfect. But the one that like made the most sense in my brain, which a lot, like Raul didn't really understand it for a second, was playing my idol even though it seemed like a waste. That was like the first time that we as like a 5-stack group were voting together. And it's like, as much as like we were all locked in, it's like I still had to play that for myself, because no matter what, like, you never know.
All right, well, I have a question right off the bat. Matt, you say that you, from the start, immediately had a top 3.
Yeah.
Who exactly was that top 3?
It was me, Nathan, Raul.
Okay, so you didn't even plan on taking Catalina to the end.
Oh, no. It was within the second that I was going to take her to the top 4.
So, Catalina, you had an opportunity to take 3 votes. Mm-hmm. You knew who your threats were. You knew you were on the outskirts of this alliance of 4 because, I mean, let's be clear, he just said he wanted to take Raul. Why in the world did you not take your move and stick with us? Like, why did you not utilize the power of 3 votes to get somebody out?
Part of it was because you guys were like my siblings and like you guys know how to play, so I didn't know if you were gonna like go behind my back. Like, I knew like you would use me as a vote, but then like once you got rid of them, you would get rid of me, and obviously I knew that. But here I had, like, he was going back and forth, so I had a way kind of to get them to turn on him, but I didn't know that they were also like talking about that as well. So I mean, I was blindsided a lot, which I guess, again, I could have played this differently, but I guess it was an experience, and I do think about that a lot, like how that would play out, but again, I might not have been here. Like, it could be you, James, and Lydia. So, what I started with is what I try to build up, I guess.
Matt, you seemed, from what we could see, you seemed like you were pretty on edge and almost wanted to turn to our side. I mean, from your conversation with Lydia. I mean, that's what it seemed like. But you could have, did you think Nathan was a threat to you at all?
No, not once did I ever want to consider joining you.
Okay.
And I don't know what conversation with Lydia you're talking about, but...
No, I mean, that's cool. That's all I wanted to know.
Yeah.
So, it's a big compliment to be the biggest threat, and I knew my days were numbered and I wasn't going to make it to the top 3 because we didn't perform very well in the challenges, and right at the merge we had a backstabber in our midst, so that was news, so thanks for that. Don't have anything for Nathan because he had an advantage over everybody in this game from the start, so why, kind of just to reiterate her.
Wait, which one?
Catalina.
Okay, sorry.
When, I know by the time you shifted your ideas and you jumped on board when it was just Lydia and I, was that only because Lydia and I stirred so much at that last little camp that you decided, oh, now I've been ousted and now I have no other option? Or were you even thinking about joining when we had the numbers and you, like, I was willing to give my spot up because I knew I was going to make it. And you could have had a top 3 spot with more favorable jury votes.
Okay, my plan, me and Lydia were after, what were we doing? We were inside, but I was still in the game. And I told Lydia, I said, I made signals. I was like, Jarrett told me he has an idol. He hasn't showed me yet, so I don't believe him. So I'm gonna make him show me because, again, he was still in the game and I wanted him out more than you because, he had everyone else as favor here and you didn't, so I'd rather, it worked out better for me if I went out this way. So I told her, I said, when he shows me and we meet up again, I made signals for her. I said, this means he has an immunity. This means, because I've just been touching like my hat, this all day. So I told her, I said, when you walk by, this means he has one, this means he doesn't. And then when we're in line, if he has one, I will vote with you guys because we had numbers then over them. I would vote to get Jared out. We can use his immunity idol, and then I would stick with you guys and help you guys if anything, because you guys had a more fair advantage. And I would rather just help you guys. But since you guys were on the bottom, on the outs in the beginning, I knew that you guys would flip on me, so I wanted to give you guys the upper hand because I knew that these two were going behind my back. So, and then when we were in line, I signaled like a lot. I was like playing with my water bottle. I signaled a lot, and Jared was standing right next to me. I was like pointing. I was like him, and I tried to get her attention a lot, but she didn't.
So again, that was all to Lydia, but there was Isabella.
I told her.
There was me,
I told her to tell
I did
you
see
guys.
your signals that you were like, oh, we're voting Jared. And then immediately that tribal council, nobody voted Jared, everybody went Brandon. So you didn't even know what your alliance was doing. You were in the dark, and I get it, you were in the bottom because literally the 3 of us went to the merge on the bottom and we fought hard. But that's all I'm gonna say about that. So then I have a question for each of you. What do you think your biggest disadvantage in the game was? Starting with Nathan.
I think I went into the game with a lot of preconceived relationships, and that put a target on my back. And a part of the reason I had to vote for you is because it was an advantage for my game to no longer have a sister that's competing with me. And a huge disadvantage I had is that I am a big fan of Survivor, and I helped Luke plan this event, and I think some people might be misinformed as to how much of an advantage that gave me, because I was really just in charge of, setting up boundaries, the rules, making sure.
That wasn't the advantage I was referring to.
Okay.
It was having the free tribal vote from roll at every single tribal council.
Well, yeah, but that's...
And literally giving you the marble challenge.
But
you can say that was all luck and that was counting. Every single one of the jury members will disagree because he had a chance to take you out, and he didn't. He left that one marble so that he could take Matt out.
Yes.
And that immediately shifted a lot of the jury's opinions on what was going on over there. So
I'm not gonna
That's
apologize for having a close relationship to someone. You know, you gotta use whatever advantage you have. And if you've got a Raul, use a Raul. And if you've got a Matthew, use a Matthew. I had to get to the end for what would work for Nathan.
True.
Catalina, same question. What do you think your biggest disadvantage in the game was?
My definitely not having you and Isabella on my team, because the relationships, I would say, that's again because like I don't really know.
We met yesterday.
Exactly. So like he doesn't care for me, so obviously like he would turn his back on me. So
all right, Matt, same question.
Again, I think my biggest disadvantage is me. Like we've all played Circle together. I'm usually the first to vote it out. People usually just look at me as the token, like, Matthew's annoying and we'll get him out. So I had to play up a lot, and so yeah, I think I was my biggest disadvantage.
And last question, whose dumb idea was it to draw the rocks or the sticks for that last?
That was a charade.
Yeah.
Matthew and I were gonna stick together
we've
regardless
planned
of the
from the beginning.
sticks.
Yeah.
All right, that's
Didn't
it.
matter.
I'd like to get the record straight. Brandon's vote. Nathan, you said we cannot vote for him. We have to vote for Isabella. Right? And I said when he was around, no, we need to split it. And when he wasn't around, I said we're voting for Brandon. You told all these people you were the one that orchestrated that vote. Then I asked you, I said, are we good? And you said, I have no other choice. So, first blind side wasn't you. Second blind side was me. What happened there? I said, Raul, I'm going to vote for Nathan. Catalina, I'm voting for Nathan. Lydia, I'm voting for Nathan. The girls were with me until Raul came to you and told you that we were voting for you. Of course, you're going to say, yeah, I would like to vote Jared out. He's gunning for me. Had Raul not did that, you wouldn't be sitting there. Had Hannah not told you that James had the idol, you also probably wouldn't be sitting there. So you had two people always helping you, and you really didn't have to help yourself at all.
Well, could I respond to that?
Yeah.
Okay, well, there's always an element of luck in succeeding in Survivor. I mean, the challenges, the relationships that you go in, the tribes. Having people that were willing to help me, and when you tried to get me voted out and I turned around and got you voted out, I don't see that as me not being the initiator of my own fate. I see that as me being more effective with my relationships, okay? Raul, yeah, he came and told me stuff, and that saved my life in this game. But it's because of the bond that I created with Raul in this game and the trust that we cultivated. And it was very helpful to have Hannah tell me about the idols. But again, that's because I made her feel like she could trust me more than she could trust James and the people on her tribe.
Okay. The way I see it, if any of us on this tribal council had Raul, we'd be sitting exactly where you were, and you'd be sitting over there. So I don't think you did too much.
Okay.
Catalina, you said your biggest mistake was not being with Isabella and James because of the relationship. However, you have a relationship with me too, and you wanted to go against me. So I just want to know why.
I mean, you were the biggest threat, like, near me. What?
What?
Just because, again, you guys wouldn't let us, like, you wouldn't let us split up. I don't know whose idea was that buddy system. Someone said that. Was it?
Nathan's.
Yeah, that was annoying.
I don't know if it was Nathan.
Nathan claimed it was his.
Questions for Catalina, so
Yeah, Nathan claimed it was his at the beginning of his intro speech. Anyway.
I just know that you were very competitive, and from the start, I don't know why, but like you were with Brandon like almost 24/7, which kind of gave it away and which kind of put a target on both of y'all's backs, because like we said, we're like, okay guys, buddy system, Nathan, and then you guys said going apart from each other, like if you said that, like, you said this later on in the game, going apart from each other just kind of tells you where you're at. It just means that you were thinking that throughout the whole thing. So again, you guys were a strong alliance. And also, I don't know who said this, but when you wanted to vote out James, I knew that once you voted out James, you would have the girls there, and that I thought that you would both try and get, since they're your girlfriends, you would both and try to get their trust and alliance because of that relationship. Like, again, it comes down to relationships and alliances, and who you can trust. So I saw you as a threat, and then they went for Brendan, sorry. And then I was mad because they left you loose, and I know the power that you can have, like, when you really want something, so.
Okay. And then Matt, you said that you were a pretty big factor in challenges. If I remember correct, you won 2 individual immunities?
Yeah.
Okay, so the first one being the egg toss, where Isabella literally kept you in the game by catching everything you threw at her.
Because I
and then
threw
the second
exactly
one,
at her head, yeah.
I was standing behind her and saw her catching him over her head.
Do I
The
remember
second-
you hitting the stairs twice, brother? Like, you try to get up all the way from over there up to the stairs.
It's not about how I was in challenges, I'm asking you. The second
I got it
being cornhole, where Nathan and I literally threw them in and went and popped each other's balloons so that you could have immunity.
Yeah.
Do you really think that you were a factor in challenges?
Yeah, let you give me immunity.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean.
Okay, I don't think you got that question. Sounds good. Last thing I'll say
My
is...
performance literally didn't matter in the cornhole. I had immunity. It didn't matter.
Last thing I want to ask you is, what do you think your biggest move was? Because as we already decided, I was the one that organized this whole thing. And then you both literally just admitted that y'all didn't come with the idea of blindsiding me, but you only did it because Raul said it. So what was your biggest move in this whole game?
Did I ever claim that Brandon was my biggest move?
No.
No.
No, I'm just saying, what was your biggest move?
Again, I don't know. It was just playing by on the fly. It was just reactive. I was in everybody's ear the entire time.
Okay. Okay. And then the final closing statement.
Sorry.
The final closing statement that I would like to say is...
Jeff just said no.
In this whole game, the only person that played me was Catalina, 100%. Nathan,
yourself,
I
brother.
never, ever trusted you. Matt, I never ever trusted you.
Yeah.
Catalina got me to trust her, and I trusted her the entire game until she turned on me, and that, I think, is a really big showing factor. And that's all I'll say.
That's not how that works.
So Nathan, I've really been trying to hear out your side of this. I think the biggest move that you talk about is the way that you cultivated relationships, because it is, I know that the jury's not happy about your relationship with Raul. And I've been trying to have an open mind about that, but I think the biggest thing that we're focused on is the crutch that you had in both Raul and Hannah. Raul bringing you information. I mean, if I would have heard that, I would have made that move also to blindside Jarrett. And so, yeah, I think with that, what I've just seen more and more is that versus all of us that had to fight, you were given Raul as a crutch, and Hannah also, you didn't even have to win favors. She already had that in mind to begin with. And so I think in terms of the other two people beside you, I just think that you had more of a crutch. That's what I wanted to say. I guess also, and this may be backtracking, but it will help me in my vote because I'm still open-minded, but I think the lines have been blurred about who really had control over at the camp from the get-go. And so Nathan, if you could just like sorry if this is wasting time, but like reestablish the leadership role that you had, because at times it felt like you were more passive. I just want to hear more about that.
Yeah, in terms of leadership, like I said, I tried to create an environment where our team was really, really solid, and all they wanted to do was get rid of the other team. And then when that became difficult, that's when I came up with the buddy system and get other people to agree to it. And I said, Jarrett, and I said, Brandon, if you want us to trust you, you have to agree to be monitored by one of us constantly. And they agreed to that. And I would argue that that's exercising control. When we first made the merge, and it was very chaotic, I convinced Catalina to give up her immunity necklace and give it to me so that we could make it further on. And when Matthew played his immunity idol, he played it that night because I told him that he should. I feel like throughout the game, I was the driving force of a lot of decisions, and I was never totally in control, but control is what I fought for at every stage of the game.
Thank you. Matt, you mentioned that your biggest moves before you were proud of the idol decision, your decision to play the idol for yourself, but I did just hear that Nathan told you to play the idol, and so outside of that, can you give an example of another big move that you made apart from Nathan's telling you to?
Well, it's kind of like what Nathan's saying. It's all like relationships. I mean, I feel like I had Catalina on my side pretty much the entire time until she had her meltdown this afternoon. And then, I don't know, I kind of just feel like I was just with everybody at all times. The whole buddy system, my idea, because I walked up to camp and Brandon and him, I said, hey, I don't trust you two because you both have girlfriends and I think that we should not let you guys separate. That's the first time that was ever said. And then they came up with the pairing and all that kind of crap, which I mean,
They?
I'm
nothing to do
like
with
they people. But yeah, like from like the first hour, I knew that I had a solid connection, and I knew that this was going to be the top 4, and I also knew that I was still gunning for her to be top 3, but you know, I was trying to play reactive rather than, you know, trying to force because clearly when you force things, it doesn't work. So
That's because like I think people were trying to like play more of like a bigger move, and I think that you were just voting based on what Nathan was saying. I also want to hear more about when you first opened up. You said that you had great relationships. You said that you had a conversation with everyone in the jury. You gestured to us. Do you take that back?
Well, clearly not everybody. Like I didn't never really talk to like Hannah, James, or like Isabella, like that core group.
Okay.
But like from the beginning, like, you know, I was with Brandon. I mean, you were easy. I didn't really worry about you, but like talk to you and just kind of like sussing it out. And then I always knew from the beginning that they were gonna go immediately. I never trusted them from any point.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Catalina, I think that I admire you for making it this far. You did have a lot of odds stacked against you. I know that part of your gameplay was working both sides, and then eventually you came to me and started to try to work for me, which before James had kind of asked, is that because we got you riled up? But I want to know, what was your motive in playing 3 different angles? What was the end game in mind? Did you have an end game in mind for each of the alliances that you made, is what I'm asking.
I did. I'm sure you don't want to hear because it's really long. I definitely played all the end situations in my head overnight because I only got like an hour of sleep. After, the only reason I had a breakdown was because like I found out that they were like blindsiding me. And so obviously like obviously anyone's instinct is to like move on to the next stage where like you can like build up. So I saw an advantage there with like people that were on the low from like this group. So I tried that. I mean, I didn't really have another option, so
Yeah.
I mean, I did my best. Tried, but
I think that's all I have. Thank you, guys.
I mean, I guess everybody's pretty mad that I teamed up with Nathan. I mean, he's the only one I know out of everybody here, my closest friend. So, and Matt, I'm glad you made it too. So, that's pretty much all I gotta say. Nothing else. So.
All right, guys. So you guys heard from the jury there. Had plenty of time to speak back to what they were saying. Had a pretty big long intro. So hopefully you've convinced them to vote your way. Jury, it is now time to vote. Hannah, we'll start with you.
All right, Nathan. They're real mad about the Raoul thing, and I did everything I could to persuade them otherwise. I did my speech against you because I wanted to distract them from the Raoul thing and show them that you were a cutthroat player, making moves, willing to cut even your closest ties if that's what it costs you to win the game. I really hope you win this. I really hope. I'm so sorry you don't.
I may have been the biggest threat externally, but you came in under everybody's radar and you killed it. Congratulations. Shut up again. Nathan, Matthew, I never trusted you. Catalina, I trusted you and you played me, and that's why you deserve to win.
All right, with that, I'll go tally the votes. For the title of Sole Survivor and for the $200, I'll read the votes one last time.
Stop. I can feel you freaking out.
First vote, Catalina. Second vote, Catalina. Nathan. 2 votes, Catalina. 1 vote, Nathan. Catalina. 3 votes, Catalina. 1 vote, Nathan. Nathan. 3 votes, Catalina. 2 votes, Nathan. Your sole survivor is Catalina. You keep $200 and
thank you.
Congratulations.
We all played it really good. That was fun.
I really didn't think you had it in
Hey,
you.
I want you to know. I want you to know you did not have my vote till right there. All right?
At the beginning of that, I was like,
You were 50-50 on that one, but that speech came through.
Catalina, I knew I was going to backstab you. You knew I knew I was going to backstab you, but you played your butt off and you did really, really well. And I'm very proud of you for winning. And I am happy that you did. And I'm not upset about it. You played a good game. Not as a good game as me, but still a good game.
Props to Catalina. I think she played a really great game, starting from where she was starting from. But I really don't have any regrets coming out of this game.
I actually wasn't that nervous. I was pretty nervous, But I wasn't that nervous because I knew that I had somewhat votes. The only reason why I'm saying I wasn't nervous because my peeing urge went away, and I only had to pee because I was nervous. And since I had not seen the last episode of Survivor, I'm definitely glad I didn't say my speech first, and I kind of just copied off of Nathan. So thanks, Nathan.
Celebrate good times. Come on. It's a celebration.
I'm really proud
I
of
can
how you
finally
explained it.
breathe.
Oh,
I don't have to pee.
Because
I was so
I
nervous.